close your eyes. Imagine, if you will, a night centuries ago. The world outside is dark, wrapped in a blanket of steady, persistent rain. You are safe inside the towering walls of a medieval castle. Listen closely, can you hear it? The gentle, rhythmic patter of raindrops against the cold, wet stone of the parapets. Each drop a tiny drumbeat, playing a lullaby that has echoed through the ages. Outside, the world is wild and untamed, but in here, within these ancient walls, there is a profound sense of peace. Look around this vast, quiet chamber. Torches flicker in their iron sconces, their flames dancing and casting long, soft shadows that sway gently on the stone floor. The firelight glimmers against the dampness on the walls, making the old stones seem to sweat beads of gold. The air is cool, carrying the clean, earthy scent of rain and wet earth, mixed with the faint, comforting smell of wood smoke from a distant hearth. It's a feeling we still chase today, isn't it? That cozy sense of being tucked away from the world on a rainy evening. We might be in our modern homes with a warm blanket and a good book, but the feeling is the same. It's a primal comfort, a deep-seated sense of security that connects us directly to these ancestors. They too found solace in the sound of rain, a buffer between them and the vast, dark unknown of the night. Now, draw your attention back to the sound. The rain is growing a little heavier, a constant, soothing rush of water against the thick, leaded glass of the arched window. It's not a violent storm, but a cleansing, steady downpour, the kind that washes the world clean. Far, far away, on the distant horizon, a low rumble of thunder rolls softly. It's the deep voice of the storm, reminding you of the power of nature and how wonderful it is to be sheltered from it. Let the sound of the rain wash over you. Let it fill the space around you. Imagine the water coursing down the slate-tiled roofs, gathering in the gutters, and spilling down through ancient gargoyles, creating little waterfalls that splash onto the courtyard stones below. Each sound is a layer in this symphony of the night, a gentle, continuous drone that quiets the mind. It's a sound that asks for nothing. It simply is, and in its presence, you can simply be. Let your body begin to relax. Feel the weight of your limbs, heavy and comfortable. Release the tension in your shoulders, letting them drop away from your ears. Unclench your jaw. Smooth the space between your eyebrows. With every breath you take, you draw in peace and calm. With every breath you exhale, you release the day's worries, letting them dissolve into the sound of the falling rain. They are insignificant here, in this timeless place. The distant thunder rumbles again, a little closer this time, but still a friend. It's a reminder of the world outside, a world that is sleeping and renewing itself under the cover of the storm. The castle stands firm, a silent guardian against the elements. Its thick walls have weathered 1,000 storms, just like this one. They have stood for centuries, and they will stand for centuries more. You are part of that strength, that endurance. You are safe. Picture the castle grounds. The great oaks and ancient yews are dripping with rain, their leaves shimmering in the occasional flash of distant lightning. The gardens, filled with herbs and night-blooming flowers, release their fragrance into the damp air. The moat below is a dark, rippling mirror, reflecting the stormy sky and the flickering torchlight from the towers above. Everything is saturated, hushed, and at peace. Allow your mind to drift. Don't try to hold on to any single thought. If a thought comes, acknowledge it, and then let it float away like a leaf on a stream, carried away by the gentle current of the rain. Your only task now is to listen, to feel, to sink deeper and deeper into this state of profound relaxation. The rain is your anchor, grounding you in this present moment of tranquility. The flickering torches cast a warm orange glow, a stark and beautiful contrast to the cool blue-gray light of the storm outside. The firelight makes the room feel alive, breathing with a slow, steady rhythm. It dances across tapestries, depicting scenes of forests and hunts, making the woven figures seem to move in the periphery. It's a comforting, living light in the heart of the stone fortress. You are not alone. You are accompanied by the spirits of this place, by the very essence of comfort and security. Let's return to the breath, a slow, deep inhale, filling your lungs with the cool, clean air, and a long, slow exhale, releasing everything. Feel your body becoming heavier, sinking down into the soft surface beneath you. It's as if the bed is rising up to meet you, to hold you, to cradle you completely. There is nothing for you to do, nowhere for you to be. Just here, now, drifting. The sound of the rain is a constant presence. It's the heartbeat of the night. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, a rhythm that lulls the body into a state of deep rest. It's a sound that has helped countless generations fall asleep. It connects you to a long, unbroken line of humanity, all seeking the same thing at the end of the day: rest, peace, and renewal. Imagine yourself walking through a quiet stone corridor. Your footsteps are silent. The only sound is the rain and the distant, sleeping breath of the castle. You pass by suits of armor, standing like silent sentinels, their polished metal reflecting the torchlight. You feel a sense of history, of time stretching out behind you and before you. But in this moment, time has stopped. There is only the peaceful, eternal now. You find your way to a small, secluded alcove with a narrow window overlooking the castle walls. You can see the rain falling in silvery sheets, illuminated by the moon hiding behind the clouds. The world is a watercolor painting of grays and blues and deep, velvety blacks. And you are the silent observer, completely safe, completely at peace. Let go now. Let go of all effort. Let your mind become as vast and open as the night sky. Let the sound of the rain be the only thing that exists. It's a gentle cascade, a waterfall of serenity washing over your consciousness, cleansing it, clearing it, preparing it for deep, restorative sleep. Each drop of rain carries away a little bit of tension, a little bit of worry, until there is nothing left but pure, untroubled calm. You are drifting now on a calm sea of sleep. The sounds of the castle, the rain, the distant thunder are all merging into a single, soothing hum. It's the sound of the universe settling down for the night, and you are settling down with it. Feel the gentle pull of sleep, like a soft tide drawing you out into a deep, peaceful ocean of dreams. Don't resist it. Welcome it. Embrace it. This is your time to rest, to heal, to recharge.
The great hall is quiet now. The last of the evening meal has been cleared away. The long oaken tables wiped clean of crumbs and spills. Servants move with a practiced hush, their footsteps soft on the cool stone floor as they collect the last of the pewter plates and empty wine goblets. Their movements are a silent dance, a rhythm learned over countless nights just like this one. A few linger by the hearth, their faces bathed in the warm, flickering light of the dying fire. Their voices are low murmurs, a gentle counterpoint to the crackle and pop of the embers settling into a soft, red glow. The air, once thick with the savory smells of roasted meats and freshly baked bread, now carries the fainter, sweeter scent of wood smoke and beeswax from the candles dotted along the walls. The last of the day's light has long since faded from the tall, arched windows, and the world outside the thick stone walls is cloaked in the deep, velvety dark of night. Inside, the hall is a pocket of warmth and golden light. Shadows stretch and dance in the corners, growing longer and softer as the flames in the great fireplace dwindle. The heavy tapestries that line the walls, depicting epic battles and royal hunts, seem to soften in the dim light, their vibrant colors muted to rich, earthy tones. There's a sense of release in the air, a collective sigh as the day's duties and formalities are done. The lords and ladies have retired to their chambers, their laughter and conversation now just a faint echo in the memory of the hall. What remains is a profound and comforting peace. It's the quiet hum of a great house settling into slumber, a living, breathing entity finding its rest. You can almost feel the castle's heartbeats slowing, its stone and timber relaxing after a day of bustling life. The silence isn't empty. It's filled with the weight of history, with the ghosts of 1,000 other nights just like this one. It's a silence that speaks of security, of shelter from the world outside. Up in the minstrel's gallery, an old viol lies resting in its case, its strings still humming with the memory of the evening's music. Below, a castle hound, full-bellied and content, twitches its nose in a dream, perhaps chasing phantom rabbits through sun-drenched fields. One of the young kitchen maids pauses in her work, her gaze lost in the hypnotic dance of the embers. A small, secret smile plays on her lips as she thinks of a kind word spoken to her earlier by a handsome squire. These small, private moments are the true lifeblood of the castle, the quiet threads that weave together the grand tapestry of its existence. The air grows cooler, carrying the faint, clean scent of the coming night. Let's leave the great hall and wander deeper into the heart of the sleeping castle. Our footsteps are soundless as we drift through a stone archway and into a long, vaulted corridor. Torches sputter in their iron sconces, casting long, wavering shadows that seem to breathe along the walls. The air here is cooler, carrying the ancient scent of stone and damp earth. It's a smell that speaks of centuries, of foundations sunk deep into the land. As we move along, we pass heavy wooden doors bound with iron, each one a gateway to another world. Behind one, perhaps, a noble lady dreams of a summer tournament. Behind another, a weary knight finds solace in sleep, his armor resting on a stand nearby, gleaming dully in the moonlight that spills through a narrow, arrow-slit window. We can hear the faint, rhythmic breathing of the castle's inhabitants, a collective respiration that fills the quiet spaces. Occasionally, the silence is punctuated by the distant clang of a guard-s polearm on the stone of the battlements, a reassuring sound that speaks of vigilance and safety. Or perhaps the soft coo of a dozing dove from the dovecote in the outer bailey. These are the sounds of a fortress at peace, secure within its own strength. The cool stone beneath our imaginary feet feels solid and eternal. Running a hand along the wall, you can feel the subtle texture of the mason's chisel marks, each one a testament to the human hands that built this formidable structure, stone by stone. We find ourselves at the base of a spiral staircase, its steps worn smooth and concave in the center by the passage of countless feet over hundreds of years. The air grows warmer as we ascend, and a soft light spills down from above. The stairs wind tightly, a stone corkscrew leading us upward, ever upward, into the private heart of the castle. Each turn reveals another slice of the curving stone wall, another sliver of the world below. The climb is dizzying, yet calming, a slow, spiraling meditation that lifts us out of the public spaces and into the intimate chambers of the keep. At the top of the stairs, a heavy tapestry hangs over an archway. It depicts a serene forest scene, a stark contrast to the martial imagery in the great hall. Pushing it aside, we step into the solar, the private living quarters of the Lord and his family. The room is warmer and more comfortable than any we have yet seen. A fire, larger and more vibrant than the one in the hall, burns brightly in a smaller, more ornate fireplace. The floor is covered not with rushes, but with thick, colorful carpets brought from faraway lands. The furniture is made of dark, polished wood, intricately carved with floral and animal motifs. Cushions embroidered with silk thread are scattered on benches and chairs, inviting one to sit and rest. The air is scented with lavender and dried roses, a fragrance that speaks of comfort and domesticity. The lady of the castle sits in a high-backed chair near the fire, a book of ours open on her lap, though she is not reading. Her eyes are fixed on the flames, her expression thoughtful and serene. The day's responsibilities, managing the household, settling disputes, overseeing the education of her children, have been laid aside. Here, in the quiet of her own chamber, she is simply a woman finding a moment of peace. The flickering firelight catches the jewels on her fingers and the delicate embroidery on her gown, making them sparkle like captured stars. A silver tray on a nearby table holds a single goblet and a pitcher of spiced wine, its warmth a welcome comfort against the night's chill. Through a large glass-paned window, true luxury, the moon can be seen, a perfect silver disk in a sea of inky black. Its light streams into the room, painting a silvery path across the floor and illuminating the dust motes that dance in the air like tiny, weightless sprites. The world outside is silent and still. The castle grounds and the surrounding countryside bathed in the moon's ethereal glow. From this high vantage point, the fortress seems like a ship sailing on a dark, silent sea, a bastion of light and life in the vast emptiness of the night. It is a world unto itself, complete and self-contained. The lady shifts in her chair, the rustle of her silk gown the only sound in the room, and she pulls a thick woolen blanket more snugly around her shoulders, a picture of tranquil contentment. Let's drift through another archway, this one leading to the nursery. Here, the air is even warmer, and the scent of milk and clean linen hangs sweetly in the air. Two small wooden cribs stand against the far wall. In one, the Lord's heir, a boy of 2, sleeps with his fist curled by his rosy cheek, his breathing deep and even. A carved wooden horse, his favorite toy, lies on the floor where he dropped it before being lifted into bed. In the other crib, his baby sister, wrapped tightly in swaddling clothes, stirs and makes a soft, contented sound in her sleep. A nursemaid sits on a low stool between the cribs, her head nodding forward as sleep threatens to claim her. Her mending lies forgotten in her lap, her duty for the night simply to watch and listen, a silent guardian of the castle's future. The fire in this room's small hearth has been banked low, casting a gentle, rosy light that keeps the deepest shadows at bay. It's a room filled with a palpable sense of love and hope, a peaceful sanctuary where the next generation rests. blissfully unaware of the weight of the crown they may one day wear. Now, let us float upwards once more, passing through the ceiling as if we are made of smoke, and ascend to the very top of the highest tower. We emerge onto the open-air battlements. The wind is stronger up here, a cool, clean breeze that smells of distant rain and damp earth. It whispers around the stone crenellations and whistles softly through the arrow slits. The entire world seems to spread out below us. The castle's own courtyards and rooftops are a patchwork of dark shapes and moon-drenched surfaces. The guards on their patrol walk the perimeter, their armored forms silhouetted against the torchlight. Their steady, measured pace is the rhythm of the castle's security. Beyond the walls, the landscape is a symphony of silver and black. Fields lie fallow under the moonlight, and the great forest is a dark, brooding mass on the horizon. The river that snakes through the valley is a ribbon of shimmering mercury reflecting the stars above. There are no other lights to be seen, save for the distant, lonely glimmer of a shepherd's campfire high in the hills. Up here, under the vast, star-strewn canopy of the heavens, you can feel the true scale of the world and the castle's place within it. It is both a formidable stronghold and a tiny, fragile speck of human warmth in the immense, silent wilderness. The sense of peace is different. Here it's not the cozy comfort of the solar, but a wilder, more profound tranquility. It is the peace of solitude, of being a silent observer to the grand, silent turning of the world. As the moon begins its slow descent toward the horizon, a new kind of quiet settles. The deep, expectant hush that comes just before the dawn. The castle sleeps on, gathering its strength for the day to come. Thank you for joining me on this peaceful journey. I hope you found some rest and tranquility. Follow for more immersive stories. Imagine a time, centuries ago, when the day's obligations have been met. The grand halls, once alive with the murmur of courtiers and the rustle of silk, now fall silent. A nobleman, weary from the day's politics and pleasantries, retreats from the public eye. He ascends a winding staircase, the cool stone beneath his soft leather shoes a familiar comfort. He pushes open a heavy oak door, and suddenly the world outside fades away. He has entered his private chamber, his sanctuary. The first thing he does is draw the curtains. They are immense, made of deep velvet in a shade of forest green or rich burgundy, so heavy they muffle the sounds of the world. As the thick fabric glides shut, the last vestiges of twilight are extinguished, and the room is plunged into a comfortable, secure darkness. The only sound now is the gentle, rhythmic tapping of rain against the leaded glass window panes, a soothing, persistent drumbeat that speaks of nature's quiet power. It's a sound that doesn't intrude, but rather deepens the sense of peace, washing the world clean outside his walls. He moves through the gloom to the mantelpiece, where a collection of candlestands awaits. He strikes a flint, and a single spark blossoms into a small, determined flame. He sinks into a large, overstuffed armchair by the hearth, the one upholstered in soft, worn damask. The fabric is smooth and cool to the touch. The soft crackle of the wood fire joins the pitter-patter of the rain, creating a symphony of calm. It's the gentle weight of a woolen blanket draped over his legs, the smoothness of a polished wooden table beneath his fingertips, the subtle aroma of old books and dried herbs hanging from the rafters. It's a world built not for show, but for solace. Here, there are no expectations, no performances. It is a place to simply be, a place to listen to the rain, watch the fire, and feel the quiet rhythm of his own breath. Let's allow ourselves to sink into this feeling of profound peace. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Imagine the soft candlelight flickering on your eyelids. Feel the weight of a heavy, luxurious fabric settling around you, a cocoon of comfort. Listen to the gentle, steady drumming of rain on the roof above each drop, a tiny note in a lullaby composed just for you. Let the sounds of the outside world, the traffic, the notifications, the endless to-do lists all fade into a distant murmur, replaced by the crackling of a warm fire. Breathe in and imagine the air is filled with the clean scent of rain-washed earth and the sweet, subtle fragrance of beeswax. Breathe out and feel the tension in your shoulders. Your jaw, your hands begin to melt away. Your body feels heavy, relaxed, and fully supported. Your mind, which may have been racing all day, begins to slow down. The flurry of thoughts becomes a gentle, meandering stream. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. This moment is a gift, a pocket of time carved out just for you. Picture the room around you. The shadows dance softly on the walls, creating a gentle, moving tapestry. This is the essence of deep rest, a return to a state of natural calm that resides within all of us. As we continue to rest in this space, let's turn our attention inward. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest with each breath. Feel the steady, reassuring beat of your own heart. This internal rhythm is your anchor, a constant presence that connects you to this moment of peace. You are safe, you are secure, you are at ease. Allow any lingering thoughts to drift by like clouds in a calm sky. Don't try to push them away. Just observe them without judgment and let them go. Your only task right now is to rest. The rain continues its soft serenade against the windows. The fire crackles and sighs, settling into a steady, comforting burn. The candlelight remains constant, a beacon of warmth in the quiet darkness. It's a reminder that even in a busy world, we can always find our way back to our own private chamber of the mind, a place of deep calm and rejuvenation. Let this feeling of tranquility permeate every part of your being, from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head. Let it fill you up, restoring your energy and soothing your spirit. This quiet moment is a powerful act of self-care, a way to honor your need for rest and stillness. As the fire burns low and the candles flicker, you can feel a deep sense of gratitude for this time, for this peace. The world outside will be there when you are ready, but for now, there is only the sound of the rain, the warmth of the fire, and the deep, restful quiet of your own inner sanctuary. As our time in this peaceful retreat begins to draw to a close, let's do so gently, without any rush. Hold on to this feeling of deep calm. Know that this sanctuary is not a distant fantasy, but a place within your own mind that you can return to whenever you need it. You can build its walls with your imagination, light its candles with your intention, and listen to its quiet symphony whenever the world feels too loud. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your surroundings. Notice the surface you are resting on. Feel the air on your skin. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, gently reawakening your body. When you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes, bringing the soft light of your own space back into focus. Carry this sense of peace and tranquility with you into the rest of your day or into a deep and restful sleep. Remember to be gentle with yourself. Thank you for sharing this time of quiet reflection. If you enjoyed this journey, Please like and subscribe for more moments of calm. The city sleeps, or so it seems. Streetlights cast long, lonely shadows, and the world holds its breath in the quiet hours before dawn. But if you listen closely, truly listen, you'll hear it. A gentle hum, a quiet rhythm, the soft pulse of a world that never truly stops. This is the story of the unseen, the unheard, the guardians of the night and the early morning. It begins not with a bang, but with a whisper. A hushed footstep on a stone floor, the gentle clink of metal on ceramic, the soft swish of a broom, long before the first rays of sunlight paint the sky. In the heart of a slumbering hotel, a kitchen is already coming to life. There are no loud shouts, no clattering of pans just yet. Instead, there's a quiet choreography of preparation. A baker, hands dusted with flour, gently kneads dough, folding and pressing with a practiced, rhythmic motion that's almost meditative. The air begins to fill with the warm, comforting scent of yeast and sugar. Another chef sharpens a knife, the soft, metallic rasp a sharp counterpoint to the quiet hum of the refrigeration units. Vegetables are being meticulously chopped, each slice precise, falling like soft rain onto the cutting board. It's a world of focused silence, where every movement is deliberate, every task performed with a quiet reverence for the craft and for the sleeping guests who will soon awaken to the fruits of this labor. Further out, where the city gives way to rolling fields, another kind of quiet work is underway. Inside a stable, the air is thick with the sweet smell of hay and horse. A stable hand moves from stall to stall, his footsteps muffled by the straw-strewn floor. He speaks in low, soothing tones to the horses, who nicker softly in response. He checks their water, tops up their feed, his movements slow and gentle, so as not to startle the magnificent animals resting in the dim light. He runs a hand along a sleek coat, checking for any signs of distress, a silent conversation passing between man and beast. This is a bond built on trust and quiet consistency, a daily ritual that ensures the well-being of creatures who cannot speak for themselves. The rhythmic munching of hay is the only soundtrack, a peaceful, contented sound in the pre-dawn stillness. Back in the city's heart, in a vast, empty office building, a cleaning crew moves like ghosts through the deserted corridors. The only sounds are the soft whir of a vacuum cleaner in a distant room, the gentle squeak of a cloth on glass, and the quiet slosh of water in a bucket. They erase the traces of the previous day's stray coffee cup, a smudge on a window, the dust that settles unseen. They move through empty boardrooms, where big decisions were made just hours before, restoring order and cleanliness. There is a sense of peace in their work, a quiet satisfaction in making a space fresh and ready for a new day. They are the invisible hands that reset the world, ensuring that when the first employees arrive, their environment is pristine, as if by magic. Their footsteps echo softly in the grand, empty lobby, a testament to the work that happens when no one is watching. This quiet, ceaseless activity is the foundation upon which our bustling daytime world is built. It's the baker's gentle hands, the stable hand's soft murmur, the cleaner's steady rhythm. It's a vast, interconnected network of quiet dedication. Imagine the night shift nurse moving silently down a hospital corridor, her soft-soled shoes making no sound. She checks on sleeping patients, adjusting a blanket here, checking a monitor there. Her presence is a comforting, silent promise of care. Her work is a lifeline, performed in the hushed quiet of the ward, a stark contrast to the life-and-death dramas that can unfold in the very same space during the day. Think of the lone security guard making his rounds through a silent museum. He walks past priceless works of art, his footsteps echoing in the cavernous halls. He is the solitary protector of history and culture, his vigil ensuring that these treasures are safe for another day of wonder and admiration. His is a lonely but vital task, a silent watch over the legacy of generations. Or consider the overnight stalkers in a massive supermarket. They move through the aisles, their pallet jacks and carts gliding quietly. They replenish the shelves, turning the chaos of a busy shopping day back into perfect, organized rows. They are the unsung architects of our daily convenience, ensuring that when the doors open in the morning, every item is in its place, ready for the taking. These are not grand, heroic acts that make the headlines. They are small, consistent efforts, repeated night after night. They are the quiet hum beneath the noise of our lives. It's a rhythm of care, of preparation, of maintenance. The work is often solitary, done in the quiet companionship of one's own thoughts. It requires a special kind of person, one who finds satisfaction not in applause or recognition, but in the work itself, in a job well done. They are the keepers of the quiet, the stewards of the night. Their work is a form of meditation. The repetitive motions, the quiet focus, it creates a space for thought, for reflection. In the silence of the night, with the world asleep, there is a clarity that is hard to find during the day. Problems can be untangled. Ideas can take root. The baker contemplates a new recipe. The cleaner plans their week. The stable hand thinks about a horse's training. It is in these quiet moments that the world is not just maintained, but also gently pushed forward. So the next time you wake up to the smell of fresh bread from the bakery, or walk into a clean office, or see a healthy horse in a field, take a moment. Take a moment to think of the unseen hands and the quiet hours that made it possible. Think of the soft footsteps, the hushed whispers, the steady, rhythmic work that happened while you were dreaming. The world doesn't just reset itself each morning. It is carefully, quietly, and lovingly set right by an army of silent workers. They are the invisible threads that hold our daily lives together, weaving a tapestry of order and readiness, all before the first alarm clock rings. They are the quiet heartbeat of our world, and their story is written in the silence, in the calm before the dawn. Thank you so much for joining me in this quiet reflection. If you enjoyed this and want to explore more hidden stories, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world. Until next time, take care. The rain falls, not a storm, just a steady, patient drumming against the world. It soaks the wool of my cloak, making it heavy on my shoulders. The water drips from the brim of my hood, a constant rhythmic patter just at the edge of my vision. It runs in rivulets down the worn leather of my gauntlets, pooling for a moment before spilling over onto the slick, dark stones of the parapet. Out here, on the edge of the known world, the rain is a constant companion. My hand tightens around the haft of my spear, the wood smooth and familiar. Beside me, Ilara shifts her weight. Her cloak is a deep blue, almost black in the dim light, and the rain seems to cling to it, tracing the patterns of the weave. The torch she holds sputters and hisses, a defiant little flame fighting against the damp. It throws dancing, uncertain shadows against the wall, making the familiar stones seem strange and alive. The light catches the droplets on her eyelashes, turning them into tiny, fleeting diamonds. We don't speak. There's no need. The silence between us is as comfortable as the rain is persistent. Our world is this wall, this narrow walkway between the safety of the town behind us and the vast, whispering darkness of the forest ahead. The trees are a solid black mass, a jagged line drawn against a sky the color of old iron. From the depths of that forest, the night breathes, the scent of wet earth, of decaying leaves, of pine needles, sharp and clean, and sounds. The rustle of some unseen creature in the undergrowth, the mournful call of a night bird, the creak and groan of ancient branches swaying in the wind. These are the sounds of our vigil. They are the lullaby of the watch. Most people would find this lonely. They'd see the endless dark, feel the chill seeping into their bones, and long for the warmth of a hearth and the sound of laughter. And sometimes I do too, but out here there's a different kind of warmth. It's the quiet solidarity with the person standing next to you, the shared responsibility that needs no words. It's a profound sense of purpose. We are the guardians, the silent sentinels. We are the line, a life lived on the edge, under the patient, watchful eyes of the moon and stars, hidden though they may be tonight. This feeling, this sense of being a quiet protector, it reminds me of something my grandfather used to say. He'd say, the strength of a wall isn't in the stone, but in the spaces between. It's in how they fit together, how each one supports the other. He was talking about stone, of course, but he was also talking about people. He believed that the greatest strength we have is our connection to each other, the invisible mortar that holds a family, a community, a kingdom together. Standing here, I understand what he meant. The wall is just stone. It's our presence here, our shared purpose, that gives it meaning. It's the knowledge that back in the town, families are gathered, children are sleeping, and life is continuing, all because we choose to stand here in the rain. That thought is a fire that the rain cannot quench. It burns brighter than any torch. It's the feeling of belonging to something larger than yourself. It's easy to feel small and insignificant in a world this vast. The forest feels infinite, the sky endless. It's easy to think that one person, one small act, doesn't matter. But that's not true. Every single one of us is a stone in the wall. Every quiet act of kindness, every moment of shared understanding, every time we choose to support someone instead of letting them fall, we are strengthening the wall. We are filling the spaces between. Think about the people in your life, the ones who stand with you, even when it's metaphorical rain pouring down, the ones who hold a light for you when your own world feels dark. That's the essence of community. It isn't about grand gestures or heroic deeds. More often, it's about the quiet presence, the unspoken support. It's the simple act of being there. Sometimes, the world can feel like a vast, dark forest full of uncertainty. We all face our own versions of the night, but you are never truly alone on your watch. Look around, and you will find others standing with you, holding their own torches, sharing the same silence. The greatest comfort isn't in the absence of the storm, but in knowing you don't have to face it alone. My grandfather built walls of stone to keep things out, but the walls we build with compassion and empathy, those are the walls that truly protect us. They create spaces of safety and warmth where we can be vulnerable, where we can heal, where we can grow. They are built not of stone and mortar, but of moments, a shared smile with a stranger, a helping hand offered without being asked, a listening ear for a friend in need. As the night wears on, the rain begins to soften. The drumming on my hood lessens to a gentle tap. The world seems to be holding its breath, waiting for the dawn. And I know that with the dawn will come relief. The town will stir, and our watch will end. We will return to the warmth and the light, our duty done for another night. But the peace of the watch, the strength found in the quiet camaraderie that stays with you, it becomes a part of you. So, as you go about your day, think about the walls you are a part of. Think about the spaces you can fill. Your presence matters. Your quiet strength matters. You are a guardian in your own world, a protector of the people and the values you hold dear. Stand your watch, not with a spear and a torch, but with an open heart and a kind spirit. Because that is how we build a world where everyone can feel safe, even when the rain is falling. Thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more stories. Have you ever wondered what it feels like inside a stone castle when a storm rolls in? It's not just about the wind and the rain. It's a complete transformation of the atmosphere, a shift in the very soul of the fortress. Imagine standing in the great hall, the air thick with the smell of old stone, damp earth, and wood smoke from the hearth. Outside, the sky darkens, painting the world in shades of charcoal and deep indigo. The first sign isn't the rain, but the wind. It begins as a whisper, a sigh that snakes through the arrow slits and around the corners of the battlements. Soon it grows into a mournful howl, a lonely voice calling from the wilderness. Inside the round towers, the wind doesn't just pass by, it spirals. It sings a low, resonant song as it whips around the stonework, a sound that seems to rise from the very foundations of the castle. It's a deep, vibrating hum that you feel in your chest, a reminder of the raw power held at bay by just a few feet of solid rock. Then comes the rain. At first, it's a gentle tapping on the slate roofs, a soft, rhythmic drumming like 1,000 tiny fingers. It's a soothing sound, a natural percussion that seems to slow your heartbeat. As the storm intensifies, the tapping becomes a steady, driving roar. Each drop hits with purpose, washing the ancient stones, tracing paths down the glass of the high-arched windows. You can watch the world outside blur into a beautiful watercolor painting, the distant hills and forests softened and indistinct. The sound of the rain on the roof is a constant, a comforting blanket of noise that insulates you from the world. It makes the vast, cold space of the castle feel smaller, more intimate, like a secret shared between you and the storm. The sound changes depending on where you are. In the attic, under the eaves, it's a loud, encompassing drumming. Down in the kitchens, it's a distant, muffled rumble, punctuated by the crackle of the cooking fire. And it's not just the people who feel the change. The animals within the castle walls become restless. The horses in the stables shift on their hooves, their ears twitching, catching every gust of wind and distant roll of thunder. They nicker softly to one another, their warm breath misting in the cool, damp air. The dogs, usually dozing by the fire, lift their heads, their senses on high alert. They might let out a low growl at a particularly violent gust of wind, or press closer to the warmth of the hearth, seeking comfort. Even the mice and rats that live in the hidden spaces of the castle seem to hold their breath, their usual scratching and scurrying silenced by the overwhelming voice of the storm. The whole fortress seems to hold a collective breath, a gentle tension that hangs in the air. But it's not a frightening tension. It's a tension that softens the edges of the day, that encourages you to slow down, to draw closer to the fire, to listen. The storm outside makes the safety and warmth inside all the more precious. It's a perfect backdrop for sleep, a natural lullaby composed of wind and rain, a powerful yet gentle song that rocks the stone cradle of the castle until the world is quiet and still, waiting for the first light of dawn. As the storm settles into its rhythm, the castle truly comes alive with a different kind of energy. The grand tapestries that line the walls, depicting epic battles and serene landscapes, seem to ripple and sway with the drafts that find their way through unseen cracks. The candlelight flickers wildly, casting long, dancing shadows that stretch and shrink, making familiar objects seem strange and new. A suit of armor in the corner might glint unexpectedly, its polished surface reflecting the wavering flames, almost as if it's breathing. The air grows cooler, carrying the scent of petrichor, that wonderful, earthy smell of rain on dry ground, mixed with the smoky perfume of the fireplaces working overtime. These fires become beacons of life in the stone giant, their cheerful, crackling a defiant response to the storm's fury. People gather around them, their faces illuminated by the warm glow, sharing stories in hushed tones, their voices a soft counterpoint to the howling wind. The storm fosters a sense of community, a need to be together. Think of the sounds that fill the long corridors. The stone floors echo with the soft tread of slippered feet as someone fetches another log for the fire or checks on a rattling shutter. There's the distant clatter of pots and pans from the kitchen, a reassuringly domestic sound amidst the elemental chaos. Maybe you hear the faint, melancholic notes of a lute being played in a chamber down the hall, someone using the storm's mood as inspiration for a sad, beautiful melody. Water trickles down the inside of a drain pipe somewhere deep within the walls, a secret river running through the castle's veins. These aren't just noises, they are the castle's heartbeat, a symphony of small human moments set against the grand orchestra of the storm. Each sound tells a story, painting a picture of life continuing, finding its own pace, its own peace, even as nature rages just beyond the walls. The castle ceases to be a mere structure of stone and wood. It becomes a living, breathing entity, its mood shifting and changing with the weather. The library, in particular, becomes a sanctuary during a storm. Imagine a room with floor-to-ceiling shelves filled with the scent of old paper and leather. The only light comes from a crackling fire and a few strategically placed candles. The storm outside makes it the perfect excuse to lose yourself in a book. The rhythmic drumming of the rain on the leaded glass windows is the perfect reading soundtrack. Here, the outside world and its turmoil completely fade away. You're enveloped in a cocoon of warmth, knowledge, and tranquility. The occasional flash of lightning briefly illuminates the entire room, revealing the intricate patterns on the book spines and the dust motes dancing in the air, a fleeting moment of stark reality before the cozy dimness returns. It's a space where time seems to slow down, where the only journey that matters is the one you take through the pages in your hands. The storm isn't an interruption. It's an invitation to pause, to reflect, to escape into other worlds while being held safely within your own. It transforms a simple room into a magical haven, a quiet heart in the center of the storm-tossed castle. As the night deepens, the storm begins to wane. The wind's frantic howling softens back into a low, mournful sigh. The torrential downpour lessens to a gentle, steady patter, a final, soft drum roll before silence. The thunder, which once shook the very foundations, now rumbles faintly in the distance, like a giant turning over in its sleep, moving on to trouble other lands. The tension within the castle walls slowly dissolves, replaced by a profound sense of peace and stillness. The fires in the hearths burn down to glowing embers, casting a soft, sleepy red light on the faces of those who have drifted off in their chairs. The animals are calm now. The horses in the stables stand quietly, dozing on their feet, and the dogs are curled up, breathing deeply, their earlier anxiety forgotten. The castle exhales. The shadows no longer dance, but rest, long and deep in the corners. A deep quiet settles over everything, a quiet made more profound by the memory of the storm's recent fury. It's the kind of silence that feels heavy and soft, like a freshly fallen blanket of snow. And then, through a break in the clouds, a single ray of moonlight might pierce through a high window, cutting a clean silver line across the stone floor. It illuminates the aftermath of the storm's visit, a small puddle of water by a leaky window frame, a few stray leaves that blew in under a door. These are the small, tangible traces of the power that just passed through. The air is cleansed, scrubbed clean by the rain, and it carries a fresh, crisp scent of wet earth and renewed life. Looking out the window, the world looks brand new. The trees are washed clean, their leaves glistening like jewels under the moon. The sky is a canvas of deep, velvety black, studded with stars that seem brighter and closer than ever before. Have you ever noticed how, in the darkest of times, the smallest glimmers of light can feel the most profound? It's a curious thing. When the world outside feels vast, cold, and uncertain, we often find our greatest comfort not in grand gestures, but in the quiet, simple moments of warmth. Think about it. The gentle, almost magical pluck of a harp string, each note a soft ripple in the silence. It's a sound that doesn't demand attention, but rather invites it. It feels ancient, like a secret passed down through generations, a melody that understands the weight of a heavy heart and seeks only to lighten it, even just for a little while. Imagine sitting by a hearth, the fire crackling and whispering its own stories. The flames dance, casting long, flickering shadows on the walls. They transform the familiar shapes of the room into something new and mysterious. In this soft orange glow, the world outside, with its sharp edges and loud noises, simply fades away. Here, in this pocket of warmth, everything is calm. The air itself feels softer, heavier, imbued with a sense of peace and security. It's in these moments, wrapped in a cozy blanket, that we can truly breathe. We can listen, not just to the fire or the music, but to the quiet rhythm of our own being. This is the power of small comforts. They don't try to solve our problems, but they give us a safe harbor, a place to rest and gather our strength before we face the world again. These moments remind us that even when the night is long, there is always a hearth to return to, a song to listen for, and the simple, enduring promise of a little bit of light. This feeling, this search for a gentle refuge, is a deeply human experience. It's the reason we gravitate towards stories. Storytelling, especially the kind that happens in a quiet, intimate setting, is like weaving a blanket of words. Each sentence, each character, each twist of the plot is a thread, and as the story unfolds, we find ourselves wrapped up in it, shielded from the chill of reality. A good story doesn't just entertain us, it connects us. It reminds us that others have walked similar paths, felt similar sorrows, and found their own ways to kindle a light in the darkness. The harp, with its ethereal tones, often serves as the perfect accompaniment to such moments. Its music feels like it's woven from moonlight and memory. Unlike a booming orchestra, which can feel overwhelming, the harp's sound is personal, almost conversational. It speaks in hushed tones, offering solace without intrusion. The vibrations of the strings seem to resonate not just in the air, but within our very bones, calming a restless spirit. It's the sound of stillness, the sound of introspection, the sound of a quiet hope blooming in a hidden corner of the soul. When you combine this music with the visual poetry of a flickering fire, you create a powerful sanctuary for the mind. And what about those flickering shadows? We often think of shadows as something to be feared, a representation of the unknown. But in the cozy glow of a hearth, they are transformed. They become part of the story, part of the atmosphere. They dance and sway, creating a living tapestry on the walls. They remind us that light and darkness are not always in opposition. Sometimes they exist in a beautiful, dynamic balance. The shadows create depth and mystery, making the light seem even brighter and more precious by contrast. They teach us to find beauty not just in the illuminated parts of our lives, but in the softer, quieter, less defined spaces as well. They show us that comfort isn't about eliminating all darkness, but about learning to live peacefully alongside it, finding the warmth that exists in its presence. This brings us to a fundamental truth. Our well-being isn't always about achieving a state of constant beaming happiness. That's an unrealistic and frankly exhausting goal. True contentment, true resilience, often comes from our ability to find and cherish these small, gentle moments. Maybe for you, it isn't a harp, but the soft hum of a fan. Maybe it's not a fireplace, but the warm glow of a salt lamp. Maybe it's not a grand story, but the familiar comfort of rereading a favorite book. The specific elements don't matter as much as the intention behind them, the conscious act of carving out time and space to soothe your senses and quiet your mind. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli. Our attention is a commodity, pulled in 1,000 different directions at once. This constant state of alert can be incredibly draining, leaving us feeling frayed and depleted. This is why cultivating moments of cozy calm is not an indulgence. It's a necessity. It's an act of self-preservation. When you allow yourself to sink into a comfortable chair, to listen to music that asks nothing of you, to simply watch the play of light and shadow, you are recharging your internal batteries. You are giving your nervous system a much-needed break from the fight-or-flight mode it so often finds itself in. Think of it as tending to your own inner hearth. Throughout the day, the winds of stress, responsibility, and bad news can threaten to extinguish your flame. Taking time for these warm, quiet moments is like adding another log to the fire. It's a deliberate act of feeding your spirit, of keeping your inner light burning steadily, even when the world outside is stormy. It's in this steady, gentle warmth that we find the strength to be kind, the clarity to think, and the courage to hope. This practice can be incredibly simple. It doesn't require expensive equipment or a lot of time. It can be 5 minutes of sitting by a window with a cup of tea, noticing the way the sunlight filters through the leaves of a tree. It can be listening to a piece of instrumental music with your eyes closed, letting the sounds wash over you without judgment. It can be lighting a single candle and watching the flame for a few moments before you go to sleep. These are small acts, but their cumulative effect is powerful. They teach us to be present, to appreciate the sensory details of our lives, and to find beauty and comfort in the ordinary. So, I invite you to think about what your small moments of warmth are. What are the simple things that bring you a sense of peace and security? Perhaps you could even create a small ritual for yourself. A cozy corner in your home with a comfortable chair, a soft blanket, and a special mug. A dedicated playlist of calming music that you can turn to when you feel overwhelmed. The key is to make it easy and accessible so that when you need it most, your sanctuary is right there waiting for you. Let's embrace the power of the gentle, the quiet, and the small. Let's learn to be our own storytellers, weaving narratives of hope and resilience in the firelight of our own making. Let's listen for the soft harp tones in the midst of the noise. And let's appreciate the beautiful, dancing shadows that remind us of the preciousness of light. Because it's in these moments, these small pockets of warmth, that we not only survive the dark times, but we also learn to find a deep and abiding peace within them. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. I hope you find some warmth and comfort in your day. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Have you ever laid in bed at night, the house finally quiet, and found your mind is anything but? The day's events, the worries for tomorrow, they all come rushing in, a relentless flood of thoughts. In these moments, I often find myself searching for a quiet harbor, a place to anchor my mind. This search has led me to some of the most profound moments of peace, often found in the simple act of reflection, of turning inward just before sleep claims me. It's like finding a small, candlelit chapel in the middle of a bustling city. The world outside is loud and chaotic, but in here, there's a stillness, a sacred silence. I remember one particular night. Rain was tapping gently against the window pane, a soft, rhythmic drumbeat. My thoughts were a tangled mess of deadlines, conversations I replayed over and over, and a general sense of unease about the future. I closed my eyes, and instead of fighting the storm in my head, I imagined myself in one of those old stone chapels. A single candle flickers, its small flame dancing, casting long, soft shadows. In this quiet space, my worries begin to feel distant. The tapping rain becomes a gentle wash, cleansing the day's residue. I begin to whisper a prayer, not a formal one, but a simple conversation from the heart. Just a quiet letting go, a release of all the things I cannot control, the fears for tomorrow, the regrets from yesterday. They all seem to fade into the soft glow of the candlelight, replaced by a deep, tranquil peace. It's in these quiet, pre-sleep moments that we can find a profound connection to something greater than ourselves. A spiritual calm that prepares us not just for rest, but for a more centered tomorrow. This practice of nightly reflection isn't about grand revelations, but about small shifts. It's about consciously choosing peace over anxiety. It's about creating a personal sanctuary within your own mind. You don't need a physical chapel. The space between your breaths can become your sanctuary. The rhythm of your own heartbeat can be the hymn that soothes your soul. Think of it as tidying up your inner world before you go to sleep. Just as you might straighten your room, you can gently put your thoughts in order. Acknowledge the worries, thank them for showing you what you care about, and then gently set them aside. You can tell them, I will attend to you in the morning, but for now, it is time for rest. This simple act of boundary setting with your own thoughts is incredibly powerful. It's a declaration that your peace is a priority. The world will always present us with challenges. Our minds will always find things to churn over. But we have the power to create pockets of serenity. We can learn to be the calm eye in our own personal storms. This journey into stillness began for me out of necessity, a way to combat sleepless nights. But it has grown into one of the most cherished parts of my day. It's a time for gratitude, for forgiveness both, for others and for myself, and for reconnecting with my own inner voice. So, as you prepare for sleep tonight, I invite you to try this. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and just listen. Listen to the sound of your own breathing. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Imagine each breath in as a wave of peace, and each breath out as a release of tension. You might picture a favorite peaceful place, a quiet beach at dawn, a forest path dappled with sunlight, or your own imaginary candlelit chapel. Let the details of this place fill your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Let this place be your refuge. In this sanctuary, allow yourself to be honest. What weighed on you today? Let the memory surface without judgment. See it, acknowledge it, and then imagine it dissolving like a drop of ink in a vast ocean of calm. What are you grateful for? It can be something small, a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a stranger, the beauty of a sunset. Let the feeling of gratitude expand within you, filling the spaces left by your worries. This isn't about ignoring the difficulties of life. It's about balancing the scales. It's about remembering that even on the hardest days, there is still goodness, there is still beauty, there is still hope. This process is a form of prayer, a meditation, a deep conversation with your own spirit. The words don't matter as much as the intention behind them. Your intention is to find peace. Your intention is to heal. Your intention is to rest deeply and completely. You can ask for guidance. You can offer thanks. You can simply be silent and listen. There is profound wisdom in the stillness. In the quiet moments before sleep, when the defenses of the ego are lowered, we are more open to insight, to comfort, to grace. Sometimes, when my mind is particularly restless, I use a simple mantra. I silently repeat a calming word or phrase with each breath. Words like peace, calm, or let go. The repetition is like a gentle lullaby for the mind, giving it something simple to focus on, preventing it from straying into anxious territory. It anchors you in the present moment, which is the only place where true peace can be found. The past is gone, and the future is not yet here. All we have is now, this breath, this moment of quiet. Building this habit takes time and patience. Some nights, your mind will be a raging sea, and finding calm will feel impossible. On those nights, be gentle with yourself. Don't strive for perfect stillness. Just showing up for yourself, just attempting to find a moment of peace, is a victory. The goal is not to eliminate all thought, but to no longer be swept away by it. You learn to become the observer of your thoughts, watching them float by like clouds in the sky, without getting attached to any single one. You are the sky, vast and unchanging, and your thoughts are just the weather passing through. Over time, you'll find that this nightly ritual begins to influence your waking hours. The calm you cultivate at night starts to seep into your day. You become more resilient to stress, more present in your interactions, more connected to your own intuition. You are essentially training your nervous system to return to a state of equilibrium. You are reminding yourself every single night that you are the safe harbor you've been searching for. Have you ever noticed how the quietest part of the night isn't really quiet at all? It's that moment, deep between midnight and dawn, when the world seems to hold its breath. If you listen closely, truly listen, you'll hear it. It's not silence, it's a symphony of softness. Imagine you're in an old castle, sleeping under a canopy of velvet and dreams. The fires in the grand hearths have burned low, leaving behind a bed of glowing embers. They pulse with a gentle orange light, a warm, beating heart in the center of the cold stone hall. Every so often, one of them shifts and settles with a soft sigh, a tiny whisper of warmth. The great wooden beams overhead, ancient timbers that have stood for centuries, make their own sounds. As the night air cools, they contract with a slow, deep creak. It's not a startling noise, but a reassuring one, like the gentle groan of a great ship sailing through a calm sea. It's the sound of history breathing around you. Outside, a storm might be gathering far away on the other side of the mountains. You can't hear the rain yet, but you can feel the distant thunder. It's not a crash, but a low, soft rumble that vibrates through the very stones of the castle. A deep hum you feel more in your chest than you hear with your ears. It's the sound of power, tamed by distance. This is the peace I'm talking about. The kind of peace that isn't empty, but full of subtle sounds, gentle movements, and the feeling of being safely tucked away while the world sleeps and dreams around you. It's a peace that settles into your bones, slowing your heart and calming your mind. Let's stay in this moment for a while, just listening to the quiet symphony of the sleeping castle. There's no need to rush, no need to think about tomorrow. There's only the soft glow of the embers, the gentle creak of the beams, and the distant rolling murmur of the thunder. It's in these moments we find a different kind of quiet, a quiet that speaks. Think about the light, or the lack of it. Dust motes, invisible during the day, become tiny, sparkling dancers in these ethereal beams, swirling in slow motion with the faint currents of air. Each particle tells a story, a tiny piece of the castle's long life, now illuminated for a fleeting moment. The tapestries on the walls, depicting epic battles and royal hunts, are muted in the darkness. Their vibrant colors are softened to shades of gray and deep blue, their dramatic scenes transformed into quiet, sleeping histories. And what about the air itself? It carries the scent of old stone, damp and earthy, mixed with the faint, sweet smell of beeswax from candles extinguished hours ago. There's a hint of wood smoke still lingering from the dying fires, and maybe, if the window is cracked just a little, the clean, crisp fragrance of the coming rain. It's a perfume of security, of age, of nature held at a gentle distance. You pull the heavy blankets up a little higher, the thick wool and fur, a comforting weight. The fabric is cool against your cheek, a contrast to the warmth your own body has created in this cozy nest. Each breath you take is slow and deep, filling your lungs with the calm, clean air of the night. The sounds continue their gentle concert. A floorboard settles on the floor above. Perhaps a mouse, a tiny resident of this ancient place, scurries behind the wainscoting, its little claws making a sound like faint, scratching whispers. These aren't intrusions. They are confirmations of life, of a world that continues its small, secret business while you are at rest. From the owlery high in the western tower, A single, soft hoot echoes down through the winding stone staircases. It's a lonely sound, yet it doesn't feel sad. It's a sentinel's call, a reminder that you are not alone, that other creatures are awake and watching over the night. The sound is absorbed by the thick stone walls, becoming just another layer in the rich texture of the castle's quiet. Let your mind drift. Don't try to hold onto any single thought. Let them come and go, like the clouds passing in front of the moon. This is a time for your mind to unspool, to release the tensions and worries of the day. The distant rumble of thunder gets a little closer, but it's still a gentle bass note, not a threat. It's the sound of the world turning, of weather patterns shifting over landscapes you can only imagine. It's a lullaby sung by the earth itself. The embers in the fireplace flare for a moment, illuminating the intricate carvings on the mantelpiece: a lion's head, a cluster of grapes, a family crest. For a second, they seem to come alive in the flickering light before receding back into the shadows. This deep, restful state is a sanctuary. In this sleeping castle of the mind, you are the monarch. You are safe, protected by thick walls and the quiet passage of time. The world outside, with its demands and its noise, cannot reach you here. There is only the rhythm of your own breathing, the soft pulse of the dying fire, and the steady, reassuring presence of the ancient stone around you. The creaking beams above are like the ribs of a great, sleeping beast, and you are resting safely in its belly. The peace is profound, a blanket of serenity that covers everything. Now, the first hints of change begin to stir. The deep, inky blackness outside the window starts to soften, ever so slightly, into a dark, velvety blue. It's not morning yet, not even close. This is the false dawn, another secret moment of the night that most people sleep through. The distant thunder has faded away, the storm having passed or changed its course. The quiet deepens for a moment, as if pausing before the final act. The air grows a little colder, a last shiver before the warmth of the sun begins its long journey back to this side of the world. The hooting of the owl has ceased. The mice are settled in their nests. Even the old beams seem to have found their final resting position for the night, their creaks and groans subsiding. All that remains is the faintest whisper of a breeze through a crack in the window frame and the nearly imperceptible glow of the last few embers. This is the nadir of the night, its deepest and most tranquil point. It's a moment of pure potential, a blank page, waiting for the story of a new day to be written upon it. Your body feels heavy, deeply relaxed, rooted to the bed. Your mind is clear, washed clean by the gentle tides of the night. Let's hold on to this feeling of absolute stillness. There is no past, no future, only this perfect, peaceful now. Every muscle is relaxed. Every thought is quiet. You are simply being, breathing in and breathing out. In this profound quiet, you can almost hear the turning of the planet, the slow, silent dance of the stars across the sky. You are a part of this vast, cosmic rhythm, a tiny but integral note in the grand symphony of the universe. The castle is no longer just a place of stone and wood. It is a vessel carrying you through the darkest part of the night towards the promise of a new day. And in this vessel, you are perfectly, completely at peace. Thank you for sharing this quiet time with me. May your rest be deep and your dreams be sweet. Follow along for more moments of calm. The storm has finally passed. Its fury, which had shaken the very foundations of the castle throughout the long, dark night, has at last subsided. The thunder, once a deafening roar that seemed to split the heavens, has grumbled its way into the distant hills, now just a faint, sleepy murmur. The wind, which had howled and shrieked through every crack and crevice, has softened into a gentle sigh, a whisper that barely stirs the ivy clinging to the ancient stone walls. The rain, a relentless torrent that beat against the leaded glass, has eased into a soft, rhythmic patter, a soothing drumbeat on the slate roofs, washing the world clean. Listen, can you hear it? The quiet. It's a deep, profound silence, filled not with emptiness, but with peace. It's the kind of quiet that lets you hear the steady, reassuring beat of your own heart. Inside the great hall, the last embers in the massive fireplace glow a soft, warm red, casting long, dancing shadows that now seem friendly and familiar, no longer menacing. The air is cool and smells of rain-soaked earth, damp stone, and the sweet scent of wet leaves from the courtyard gardens. It's a scent of renewal, of a world cleansed and ready to begin anew. Now, a new light is beginning to touch the sky. It's not the bright, sharp light of a full morning, but a delicate, pearly gray that seeps in almost imperceptibly. This is the dawn, the first hint of the day to come. It filters through the high arched windows of the eastern tower, illuminating the fine dust motes that drift lazily in the still air, like tiny, golden stars. The light touches the worn tapestries on the walls, their faded colors seeming to regain a hint of their former vibrancy. It glides across the polished oak floors and the heavy, carved furniture, revealing the simple beauty of the sleeping castle. Deep within the stone corridors, the first signs of life begin to stir. A servant, wrapped in a thick wool blanket, yawns and stretches in a small alcove. A door creaks open softly down a long hallway, its sound absorbed by the thick stone. In the kitchens, the baker's boy, still half asleep, begins to stoke the embers of the great oven, the promise of warm bread filling the air. These are the quiet, gentle rhythms of the castle waking up, a slow and steady pulse that has beat here for centuries. Each sound is a note in a soft, familiar melody of the morning. Outside, the world is waking too. A lone blackbird, perched on the highest turret, tests its voice with a few clear, liquid notes. Its song is a tentative question, a call into the quiet gray light. Soon, another bird answers from the old oak tree in the bailey, and then another, and another, until a soft chorus builds, a tapestry of sound that weaves itself into the fabric of the morning. Their song is not a loud celebration, but a gentle, hopeful melody that speaks of resilience, of surviving the storm and greeting the new day with courage. The rain has almost stopped now. It has become a fine mist, a gentle veil that hangs over the landscape. Each drop that remains on the leaves of the rose bushes in the Queen's garden is a tiny, perfect crystal, catching the nascent light and sparkling like a diamond. The world seems to be holding its breath, poised on the cusp of something new. The gray light softens, gaining a hint of rose and gold at the horizon, a promise of the sun that is still hidden but on its way. Everything feels calm. Everything feels safe. The turmoil of the night is a distant memory, a story that has already been told and finished. Now there is only this moment of profound tranquility, the gentle dripping of water from the eaves, the distant, happy chirping of the birds, the soft light growing brighter with each passing second. It is a time for rest, a time for healing, A time to let go of all the worries and fears that the storm brought with it. You are safe here, within these strong, ancient walls. The world outside is waking up, but you don't have to. You can stay here, in this peaceful space between night and day, for as long as you need. Let the gentle sounds of the morning be your lullaby, the soft patter of the last raindrops, the sweet song of the birds, the quiet hum of the castle coming to life. Each sound is a thread in a blanket of peace, wrapping around you, keeping you warm and secure. There is no need to think, no need to plan, just breathe. Breathe in the cool, clean air. Breathe out all the tension, all the weariness. Feel your body growing heavy, sinking deeper into comfort and rest. Your eyelids are getting heavy, wanting to close. Let them. Let the soft, gray light behind your eyes fade into a gentle, comfortable darkness. The storm is over. A new day is dawning, full of hope and promise. But for now, there is only this moment, this perfect moment of peace. Allow yourself to drift. Imagine you are floating on a calm, gentle river, carried along by a slow, steady current. The sounds of the castle and the morning fade into a distant, pleasant hum. There is nothing to do but to let go and be carried. Let the last remnants of the storm wash away any lingering thoughts, leaving your mind clear and calm, like a still, clear pool of water reflecting the gentle morning sky. The world will be there when you wake. The sun will be shining, the birds will be singing their full-throated songs, and the castle will be bustling with the life of a new day. But for now, your only task is to rest, to surrender to the gentle pull of sleep. The night has passed, and with it, all its troubles. Now is the time for quiet. Now is the time for peace. Now is the time for sleep. Sleep now. Rest deeply. All is well.